very close on paper. I'm glad I don't have to make a pick here. Stipe Miocic, the -140 favorite in his first title defense. Alistair Overeem, the +120 underdog. Julio, you have earned the leadoff spot here, so the floor is yours, my man. Who do you like in the main event?
Thank you. Well, they both have the ability to knock the other person out in less than a minute. I think it's going to come down to Stipe's athleticism and his wrestling. Overeem's one of the greatest strikers in the UFC, so Stipe really needs to threaten the takedown, go for takedowns, fake him out, just to curb his attack. And I think if he can do this, he'll tire him out and, get a stoppage. A couple of years ago, I'd say Overeem would have run out of gas late in the first or maybe in the second, but I think Greg Jackson's really got his cardio up and his overall game up. So I think he'll make it to the third round. I go with Stipe by late TKO in the third round.
Stipe, late third round TKO. All right, Ken Flo, you teased your pick a little bit earlier, but disguised did enough to make this suspenseful. You going with the slight favorite, Stipe, or will Alistair Overeem be the UFC heavyweight champion when we crack these mics on Monday?
I think Stipe will be the heavyweight champion on Monday. I think that he's a little bit more diverse, and I think that Overeem is going to approach him a little bit conservatively, a lot like how he fought Junior Dos Santos. And for Stipe, I think that's fine with him. I think he is not an overly emotional guy. I don't think he's going to be a guy who gets away from his game plan. And I think he'll be able to play that game, and I think Stipe wins this fight by decision.
Stipe by decision in the heavyweight title fight. All right, Julio Jacobo, man, great job, dude. Thank you for the time, for listening to the show, and good luck this weekend. We hope to have you back on before the end of the year.
Anytime. Thanks a lot, guys.
In the main event challenge, Stipe Miocic, Alistair Overeem in the main event. Can he pick 'em fight? I'd imagine this one was another one that was hard for you to sort of find a side on.
It was. You're talking about Alistair Overeem, a guy who is in the best form of his career, a guy who is capable of knocking anybody out in that division. And he just seems comfortable training at Jackson Wink. Everything's coming together for him. I think he's got the right mindset heading into this. And I don't think Stipe has fought anyone on his striking level. Overeem's going to be the bigger man, certainly. So there's a lot of challenges for Stipe. Stipe is kind of like, I've said this before, but he's like a heavyweight version of Frankie Edgar. The way that he moves, the way he can mix things up, the way that he moves his head, he's constantly moving. Excellent hands. He mixes things up with his wrestling very well, so he keeps you guessing. And he's a smart fighter. He knows how to beat you. And he's a guy who knows how to stay calm as well. So I agree with Ray Longo earlier when I said, do you think he's going to succumb to any pressure? I don't think so. I think if we were going to see him succumb to any pressure, it would have been in Brazil.
Right.
And, you look at what he does for a job, being an EMT, being a fireman. He's dealt with some very intense situations, and by nature, he needs to stay calm. So I don't think he's going to be dealing with any of that. I do think that, his wrestling will probably be the difference here against Overeem. He's got to use that consistently to try to keep Overeem guessing.
Yeah, I think he's going to be buoyed by it. I really do. I think he's going to make that walk and just be of a mind that there is no way the UFC is coming to the queue for the first time in the land. It happens to be my first title defense of my UFC heavyweight championship. Like, he's not coming into the queue tonight and taking my belt. But Overeem's a very bad man and is a more patient man now. And it has taken him certainly a long time to realize this first UFC title shot. Debuted in the UFC December of 2011. A lot of people thought that this fight could come in his second UFC fight, but it does come for him half a decade into his UFC career. And I can't wait to see which side Florian is on so I can tail him. Let's get to the main event show.